Hey guys, Boris here, bringing you another VOD review. The Worlds are just few days away, therefore let's use this last chance to jump in game with one of the tournament favorites, Mr. Wasian Iverson, as this was his last public stream before he goes dark with his final minute preparations. We are playing in a Draven encounter, therefore we can play a comp that is able to stabilize hard on stages 4 and early stage 5 and then leverage that extra econ gained to go and reach a higher cap state. We have picked up a Jhin and we noted that the Ionia path is Path of the Spirit is definitely one of the stronger ones to be playing around, especially for this Ahri comp, therefore going to hold on to the Shen. But we are also paired on Slayers, but do not exactly have the items you would be looking for Slayers. Obviously we can play around the Rageblade Titans build, but you would still be wanting some form of gloves or cloaks to be playing into that. And we do get offered a Nivea 2, and given that we have a tier in the rod, we definitely should be making that, and we are. So pick up a Teemo instead of a Sona. I would assume that we would want to hold on to an Invoker pair if we were, but coming up on our augment, this is a 5 component start, and we do not have exactly the strongest of the boards. Therefore, something like Warlord's Honor is not going to be great. We would be looking for something that gives us a direction or gives us econ, and then looking to spike with that econ. But direction is going to be the main thing we want to establish right now, and Warlord's Honor is simply not going to provide that for us. Raining Gold could be the econ option, however, it has been now regarded as one of the weaker econ augments, and Gold Destiny is something that could give us on top of a gold and potentially swing our way into some form of a direction giving augment. Salvage Bid would be good. If we had a strong board, we could just leverage this extra component, slam the items, and then figure it out playing from a win streak position, what line we're able to play into depending on the lobby. However, we do not have the strongest board right now, and same goes for Torn Plated Armor. We would want a upgraded tank unit with another slam, most likely in this case, to be playing around that, and simply do not have that. Therefore going to rip the Gold Destiny and do get offered a trade sector and have managed to pick up a Scion as well. With this Anivia, I would imagine we go for a LeBlanc unlock, and it seems so. Also with the trade sector we have this option to go for a Bard unlock. This is one of the augments that since Epoch got nerfed, but trade sector is still going to give you 3 free rerolls that you can fish for Bard. We would want to be ideally making 10 here, and we are doing so. Just to establish that, and now we have this LeBlanc going to... This is interesting to see what's going to be the strongest board now that we have this Briar 2, but we also have this Anivia 2-star. We have quite an options, but ideally this board would fit together on level 5. Right now I was going to go with the Anivia instead. Now, there has been some debate of what is stronger, a 1-star 3 cost or a 2-star 1 cost, and the Morse philosophy has been that a 1-star 3 cost should be, in general cases, stronger, especially for a case where Anivia is something that benefits damage-wise from her trait, where LeBlanc does not exactly. We went for our Bard roll-on and have managed to pick up the Ahri, and we are scouting the lobby, just checking. There is definitely a Robin songs here, could be playing into this Ahri reroll as well with the Rageblade augment here. They definitely want to be playing something that is able to capitalize on the spike, but we have opted to fully commit to this line at this point since we have sold off our units. Now this is, we perhaps are looking to see we have the potentially trade sector as a pseudo reroll augment. We already have found our Ahri. Are we able to bully off the other players in order to do so? Going to pick up a belt here immediately to complete a 3-item Ahri, which should be quite strong. However, our concern is going to be the lack of the front line at the moment. We are able to hold on to the Scion, but I doubt that we're going to level. We're most likely going to lose streak from this spot with the Bard, accumulate the free rerolls, and then look to spike hard on 3-5. Now we see there's a player, Little Bear here with a Draven and a Yasuo, so they could also be potentially playing into LeBlanc. Maybe we saw that there were some players playing into this LeBlanc comp. We see a player here with a Darkened Staff as well, could be playing into his Malzahar Zoe or some other form, or a LeBlanc as well. So definitely quite a lot of players that are still angling reroll, and that's a scary situation for us. We have to hope that they're going to respect us. Little Bear has sold and holding hold on to this Yasuo now, so they are our biggest concern. There seems to be a Malzahar and Zoe player as well. Now, we should have the econ advantage if we are able to full sack here. And we unfortunately queue into Little Bear, so that's going to ruin our streak. not exactly what we wanted to see. We wanted to have this extra econ advantage, and ruining their streak would be great. Now we just have to hope that they're going to be picking up a different line, as for coming from a lost streak, they have this Ahri of their own. Going to be very interesting to see how Wasian Iverson plays this out. Going to slot in the Lulu here in order to unlock a cannon for ourselves as well already. And yeah, it seems that Little Bear might just be saying, hey, we're committing here. We have 3 AP items on our own, so going to try to make any kind of frontline items and hope that they just do not pivot into. Do not get exactly the components we are looking for either. So let's see how he manages to play this out. This is one of those spots that you're going to find probably yourself in if you're definitely playing a lot of this 3-cost reroll as I am. And overall, looking at the lobby, it's a very international lobby. We have mostly a mix of US and APAC players here. Into a little Shaco that is playing some form of a Ishtal to refuel their reroll, and seems that they're most likely going for that Malzahar Zoe reroll of their own. Have a Leona too already. On our augment selection here now, from the spot, late game specialist is always something that we're going to take. Again, the Sand counter in itself is already functioning as something that can get you extra resources, and we do not have the spot to be pushing for. Pandora's items could help to sort our tank item situation, but generally you want to be taking this moment to accelerate your item economy, and at this spot, since we're wanting to spike on 3-5, it actually could be quite good. Otherwise, Band of Thieves is general item augment that we could just using as a potential for to just guarantee some form of frontline items right now. And it seems that Wasian Iverson likes this augment so much that he's going to go for it. Second win would be a decent combat option, but we are in need of items. We are playing a reroll combat. You want to be itemizing 3 units with the Yone as well, right? You want to be getting there as soon as possible, especially if you're not hitting your 3 stars quite fast. We see that the TG has rolled an IE, so therefore it's not going to just slam this BT that's going to be transitioned onto a Yone as a tank frontline item right away. Now there seems to be a Kaisa player as well. I believe this stream was played before the Wayne nerfs went live. Nonetheless, should be quite a worthwhile game to be investigating. And now we see that we picked up a Wukong, which is going to immensely help us stabilizing this front line of our own. Also going to bring us a little bit closer to that Kobuko unlock. Now we have accumulated quite a lot of free rerolls with this trade sector, and we are a little bit low on the raw gold. However, hopefully these free rerolls we do not hit. Sometimes you just have these situations where you hit too many units, and as such end up still nuking your recon with the free rerolls. We are able to pick up a Wukong pair now with this carousel. A great luck on the carousel. Sorry. And this bow is generally going to be able to transition into one of the Yone items, Titans or a Rage Blade. So going to go for a roll down here, find a Shyvana, find the Ahri too quite early on, but we are in no sight of a Yasuo to be able to unlock this Yone. That is the little bit of a concerning situation. But going to just toss into Shyvana as a frontline. Hopefully this Ahri too now is going to be sufficient enough for us to be able to stabilize. Yeah, this is one of those comms that's going to love a lot of your bows and rods. Therefore, that is something that you're looking for in terms of your opening components. Find a cannon too as well, and Bard is going to keep the Bard in to print us a little bit of an extra econ. As simply, we could be fishing for an Arcanist if we definitely wanted to make a strongest board. Still only a single Yasuo, and instead going to not slot in the Arcanist is going to value the Shyvana so much, as our frontline is the issue right now. We do not have any frontline items that Shyvana is able to. First, she's tanky, tankier than Swain obviously, and she's going to make the strongest board in that form of sense. And now we're able to find an eco, just going to slow that in. Still using our free rerolls to fish before other players, hopes to bully them off. So we very aggressively here find an Ornn, but we have pretty much went full down. Trying to hit before anyone else is because we saw there were quite a few players in this line. We also wanted to obviously be unlocking the Yone here on the PV if we had the chance to. Thankfully our item components work out so that we do not have to be transitioning the Ahri items onto this Yone. Onto this Yasuo. Nicely able to make a Rage Blade and could just simply go for a Last Whisper to sort out the anti-armor, but otherwise we can keep this glove for something like a Steadfast, which is quite good of a tank item. Going to give up on this bard at this spot. And coming up in our last augment, Trifecta is obviously generally good in 3-cost rerolls, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this comp only run, maybe you can play a Kobuko, but since we have this Wukong, we do not really want it, and you're going to be losing a little bit of value to that. Staffsmith is a very good augment in this line, but we already have our damage item sorted, so that's not going to be that of value. Same with Portable Forge, it could be quite flippy. We would be hoping probably for a strong tank or a Yone item from this, but generally Portable Forge is doing the worst on Fortu just because of the luck involved in this. We could be looking for some form of an economic. Obviously Heroic Grab Bag here would be massive for us to find. Bronze for Life is not going to be playing around since we're playing around the vertical Ionis Earths as well, not the exact option, but we're going to be ripping this instead. Simply we're not offered better choices, I would believe, so I'm going to transition the Morello on a Cannon, which is nice since we sorted around our heal, and Cannon is able to apply it and gives us, well, it has some HP on it, right? It's made from a belt, so it's going to give us another item to work around. Double Rage Blade Yone, I'm not exactly sure how good that is, but should be decent since Yone is also a ramping champion through his auto attacks. Still going to aggressively use our free rerolls. Definitely seeing how much we value stabilizing our board on this stage 4, especially from weak opener. We want to be winning rounds as much as we can. We have a Wukong pair, and otherwise we are trying to get whatever units we have before we are committed. So yeah, this was played before the Kai'Sa Vayne rerolls, but still going to definitely show the strength of this comp. Like, obviously they were on Kai'Sa 1, but still able to beat them. This Ahri comp is one of the fan favorites, definitely you can see. JRC has already died before the anomaly, as we used to say. Dying before the 4-3 carousel, just the consequence of these stage 3 damage changes. And going to pick up generally most gold and a tank component gives us a 3 tank items finally to sort that out. So it should be quite strong. We have two item augments, and this TG obviously later on can go into something like a set. Able to find the Wukong to an R 7-on-7 copy, so going to try to dig here, stopping at the 30. If in case we hit another copy, probably would have been ready to send it if we hit the Ahri. See that the Malzahar is hit. This is another thing. If you see, there's quite few reroll players. There have been strategies where you're simply playing from ahead early on, taking like item and combat augments, and if you have an HP lead that you can leverage, you can wait for these other players to hit, sack a little bit, and then you're going to have more efficient rolls to be rolling for. But obviously we're not exactly from the spot. We had managed to string together a 5 streak, but got stopped. Now unfortunately, and we would probably have to be hitting now around 5-1 if you try to be on pace. That is general pace of your 3-cost reroll, 4-5 or 5-1 depending on the lobby econ situation. Still only on a Yone 1. So our secondary carry is a little bit of a fragile situation, especially with these melee carries having a single on a 1-star. They are quite weak, and we do toss and lose another round, dropping down to hopefully 3 lives if you do not take too bad of losses on this stage 5. This is another thing that you might run into, but this comp is generally strong enough to be able to kill a few units off. Otherwise, our item, we're probably looking to complete our item situation here, have an open build that we could be considering. Find this RA3 very early on, going to opt to push levels and unlock this set here, and still use our free rolls, find this Yone 2. I'm just going to have a slot in Yanara to keep an item spot for keep a spot for this set. And what are we considering in terms of item wise? We're going with another TG and just simply completing another Nashor's 2 that could be transitioned onto Ahri later on, obviously. Getting hurt up to the full crit and having the maximum values for mana generation. Finding the set, so I assume we're moving the So we seem to be quite happy with this Morello onto this Kindred. And also, since we had hit that Wukong 2, we did not exactly need to be sending it on level 7 for the Cannon 3, right? Wukong 2 is quite sufficient of a tank. So going to transition one of the Rage Blades off, tossing a little bit of an AD into this Yone, as with 2 Rage Blades, obviously he has the good magic component of his attacks when he's able to ramp, but this also is going to provide him as his main scaler is the attack damage. And now we have managed to stabilize our board, still the scrapes are hitting in. We should be, we could be saving our free rerolls to go to level 9 and maybe find a Garen pair, but it's going to be quite hard with these Masia players in the lobby. And then transition into a Silas, or we could just be using them to fish for a Cannon 3. I believe if we natural the single copy, that's what we would probably be trying to do so. But since we are still in a 2 to 3 life spot, we can wait and try to have a very strong board at this point as well. We can just wait, be patient, and hopefully able to spend this recon onto the level 9. Going to sort our shred here with a spark. This comp is just so item hungry in itself as well. That was another one of them, is the outs that we had potentially from our staffsmith, finding a anti-shred fighting a spark here, right? And we were still ideally wanting to have some form of an anti-armor as well. Now the TG has rolled that for us, but having a full utility tank is also not the greatest of the options if you are looking for that. So and then you have the set as well. So this is very item hungry comp. Able to secure our top 4. So now that the big gold is coming in, also holding onto this Garen for a potential of a Silas cap. As since it's a Silver Scrapes, there's going to be quite a lot of quite players. And is there a Kaisa 3 possibly coming in? Into little Li Shao, who has that Malzahar Zoe, has also managed to hit it, and they have a trifecta for a combat augment, so this is going to be very much of a test of the strengths. Coming very close, but simply the Malzahar has managed to summon too many minions and is able to take ourselves out, so we're definitely needing another form of a 3-star unit at least to be able to hold on against this Leona frontline there. Scout not exactly sure. Obviously we're just going to be sitting here. Now able to push aggressively and find the Garen 2. So going to give up, find this Silas. And now just we're fishing for either, okay, this cannon or a potential of another just flex unit. As the Senna here is going to offer that for ourselves. Did not get to check the TG, so just gambling on what side is going to be. And picked up. It was a Protector's Vow for the Silas. He is generally quite good, as especially if you high roll him doing the stun early on, it's very valuable. This Yasuo is also really putting quite a bit of work, something that people seem to understand. Obviously, you're not always in a econ situation here where you're able to fully itemize this many units, but Yasuo is able to provide a nice support for this Yone at the moment. Into a Robin Songs, who's going for a backdoor Tarek 3 of their own, and if we're able to take them out, this is a very close fight, and we do manage to just get the Ahri has managed to ramp sufficiently. This is the power of the Path of the Spirits, and we're in a top 3 against Little Bear and Li Shao representing the APAC region. Not exactly sure where Li Shao is from, but I know Little Bear would be from the China. Now again, a rematch for ourselves. We have managed to swap the sides. We're able to get on the Leona right away. These Azir statues are not working at this, and Leona got onto the backline, got a little bit of a tag, but still just not enough. They have this extra power coming in, so we'll have to be looking for probably some better TG rolls. Another item on the Silas. This is going to keep the Silas alive. It's quite valuable. Actually, Age of Night is one of his better items that people underestimate quite often. Still sitting on Persa. Going to give up on this Cannon 3 as we don't even have the removers, but transitioning items to him. Find a set 2. Now, we would try to have to get this set to reset as fast as possible, still, but it's going to value. We had a single unit we could position, so we opted to go for Silas, and Silas pays off, gives us the stun there. Is that going to be the breaker that we needed? Aurora is on their backline, and we are able to do it, so meticulous positioning here. by Wasian Iverson, realizing which unit is going to provide the most value. Now going to go for the single frontline set that is going to definitely proc him right away. And again, I would imagine that we're going to be hover scouting this Silas here to just try to get him onto the Malzahar. Did not get the swap off in the final second, and our Yone is already getting attacked on the by the Zoe splash. Again, Ahri has got it on the backline, but it's just a little too late, and we are on the wrong side for him, and we sadly lose that fight. But this was a great display by Wasian Iverson of how to be playing into a 3-cost reroll from behind, recognizing that we need to be aggressive on our roll downs. Obviously, we were chasing that Yasuo to be unlocking the Yone, but it was the necessity to where we need to spike. We need to win the easy rounds that we can before every other board has spiked on stage 4. And then we're able to simply utilize the form of the encounter, the extra resources that we have managed to save up afterwards to go for a higher capped board state. I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned something new, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.